Hi, everyone. I'm your host, Dave Sands. Welcome to the Food Origins podcast. I'll be talking to people about their unique stories with food. And as a quick reminder, the restaurants and gear talked about on each episode can be found on my website, foodoriginspodcast.com. I appreciate your support, and thanks for listening. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Food Origins podcast. Today's guest is Maximiliano Gambarazio and his wife Juliana of Papachai Coffee in San Carlos, California. I was fortunate enough to spend time with them and record on location at their roastery and coffee shop there. We talked about, Max's incident that caused him to end up owning a coffee farm and then eventually moving out to the United States from Peru and opening a coffee shop approximately a little bit over 20 years ago. So we get into that. We get into his kind of origin story there, and we get into coffee roasting, his process, some of the things that he ate as a kid and as an adult, and kind of just talking about Peruvian culture, Peruvian dishes, some of his favorite dishes, and we go over what he carries at the coffee and some of his new projects that he wants to come up with. So enjoy. All right, we're rolling. I'm here with Max and Juliana Gambarazio. Sorry if I messed that up, but they are owners of Papachai Coffee, and so we are on location with them in San Carlos, California. So thanks for being here, and thanks for letting me come in and talk to you, Max.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dave.
And kind of what we talked about and what I'm kind of doing is I'm just looking at people's origins and looking at where they're from and how they came to be and how things are, coming around with whether it's food, and of course with you guys it's coffee. But obviously you have a background in some cooking as well. I kind of dug in a little bit, and we'll talk about that. So, first off is, tell us how you're here. You're from Peru, so tell us a little bit about yourself. And
born and raised in Peru. I came here when I was 16. And like everybody else, looking for something better, of course. I have my father here. So he introduced me to do some body work. That's the initiation of the kind of work I was doing. And through the years, I went to school for horticulture just to get to the point. Horticulture brought me into growing plants. Not at the beginning when I first started going to school, but later on, after I finished all these classes, sure, I was thinking, what am I going to do now? And in the middle of all these, I was going back and forth to the place I was born, Peru. I was shipping motorcycles.
What city were you born?
I'm in Lima. I'm from Lima, Peru.
Okay.
And traveling to Peru in a motorcycle. Eventually, I ended up in the jungle, as a fun ride with friends. And it happened that my motorcycle broke down at this coffee plantation where I was waiting for parts, and I knew the lady wanted to sell the farm, and I thought it was a good idea. Having a background with horticulture, knowing how to grow plants, and, working with, most likely with the school, all not hands on the job, but growing plants in a coffee plantation. If that would have been mine, I thought about, well, what a good idea to buy the farm. And that happened a year later after, I spent that weekend waiting for parts for the motorcycle there for that repair, the minor repair that I have. I bought 30 acres from this lady. And wow. I thought it was a really good idea. It was a moment in time where the situation in Peru was terrorized by the Shining Path. This is guerrillas involved in scaring everybody, pretty much. So after they capture the main guy, it was nice and easy for a lot of people to start returning to the fields. Even people that were already in the coffee business, left for 20 years. They came back. And that's at the time where I got the farm, and it was inexpensive to buy, each acre. So, we're talking about, 22 years ago.
Okay.
And now things are different. Things are much smoother. They build new roads, new highways to get into the farm. It was not the, background, situation. When I first started going to the farm, it was extremely dangerous. I mean, meaning riding, driving, but it's much better now. I'm glad that things are better for everybody else, not just for me.
Right, for the country itself.
For the country itself, for the people that works with coffee, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge undertaking, right? You're riding along, and you see this farm. You have this opportunity to take it over.
Yeah.
You had no idea that you were going to do coffee.
No idea.
Because from my understanding, like I looked at a couple of things that's written about you. You wanted to be a chef for a while, right?
I wanted to, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, things happen, but like this opportunity came up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, when I went to this culinary academy in San Francisco, they knew I never went to school here in the United States. So they go, why don't you go and take a class for about 3 months and then come back? Because once you're here, enroll in these classes, you're not going to be able to, or we're not going to be able to return your money because you got to pay, a certain amount of money.
Right.
So I was kind of bummed out actually.
Yeah.
So, but I went and went to college and see, what kind of classes am I going to take, just to comply with what I want to do in the future. So I ended up taking, different courses on horticulture. And I really like it. I never thought about that I was going to like, what I was taking just for the 3 months period. And then I spent 3 years in many different classes in horticulture, Yeah, I have a certificate and a couple, good classes.
What are some of the main things that you learned in that? Soil,
landscape design, landscape construction, nursery management. So I took different classes,
and how much of that, like, because I know nothing about growing a coffee farm. You do.
No, I didn't know anything until I started taking the class.
So, I mean, how much of that did you have to implement into the farm after? Well, or was it kind of a little bit going already?
Pruning, right? Cultivating.
Yeah.
Keep everything clean. Don't let the weed eat the baby plants, the coffee plants. So what I was doing is I was doing a restoration of plants that were already tired, So every other row, I was cleaning one row to put new plants and leave the other one intact, not touching the next one.
Okay.
So, every other row, I was working on every other row, yes. So I still got a production because you got to wait 3-4 years before you get your first harvest. So.
When you first took it over, how long did it take?
Well.
Do you think?
Never stop. It's still up until we got to work hard.
Of course.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then we'll get back to the coffee. And I kind of want to get into some of the things that I was going to ask you. Is the childhood, growing up as a child, what are the things that you ate growing up?
Oh my God, things that I didn't want to eat, like fish, quinoa. Those are the stuff that I didn't like to eat.
Yeah. Well, you can go over both. What did you like to eat? And then you can always go, I have plenty of things I didn't like when I was a kid too.
Well,
but what kind of fish were you eating?
Well, Peru has abundant amount of fish. And most likely back then, I will say eating fish was poor people's food.
Okay.
It's the opposite now. It is. What I didn't like before, now I'm eating it now. I do eat quinoa. I do eat, fish. I've tried to eat more healthier stuff, like lentils and beans and stuff like that, They help me out with my cycling too. I'm into cycling.
Oh yeah, of course.
100%.
Yeah, that's your main workout, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, and then like, is there anything like you didn't like completely at all? And then now, besides the fish, is there something? Because like I always give my example. My example is I had my tonsils taken out when I was like 11, and they gave me Jell-O. That's the first. I was like the first thing you get to eat in the hospital. I can't stand Jell-O. Like, don't give me anything that resembles Jell-O. You know, my mom used to make fruit Jell-O or put bananas in orange Jell-O and all. No, thanks. Not for me. But I don't know if there's anything like that you just despise or you just were like, no.
We're really healthy.
Yeah.
And I didn't know I was eating healthy. And, you know, all the stuff that I used to eat before, I didn't like it. You know, I was a child growing up, you know.
What about those guinea pigs?
No, that's in the Sierra. We are from the coast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're mostly close to the coast.
The coast is all seafood and fish.
What about any like shellfish?
Yeah, a lot of.
Like what kind? Clams?
Clams, you name it. I mean, we have everything in
Shrimp?
Peru. Shrimps, oh yeah. Black clams, baby
Mussels?
clams, mussels, oh yeah.
But do you guys have oysters out there? Is there any oysters? No. Yeah. No. That sounds good though. I mean, like as you know, like that's premium now.
Yeah, it is premium now, but you know, back then, I don't even want to eat that kind of stuff. Yeah,
because it's like squishy or.
But we eat rice like Chinese people. Peru eats a lot of rice.
Yeah, so there is some Chinese influence, right, in Peru.
Japanese, Chinese, Africans, Americans. Well, Africans.
Okay.
Yeah, they came for, you know, the big boom of rubber.
Okay.
And the jungle of Brazil also. We're all over.
And
Brazil and Peru.
We do have Max's wife here with us, Juliana. Say hi.
Yeah, hello.
And so, yeah, that's an interesting thing because, you know, one of my favorite dishes, and we've talked about this before, is lomo saltado.
Yeah.
Jumping
steak, yeah.
And there's soy sauce in there, in that recipe.
A little bit.
Not a lot, but it's there.
Yes.
And a lot of people go, wait, what do you mean there's soy sauce in there? Yes. And that's from Chinese, Japanese influence, right?
Yeah, Chinese. Even Italians and Germans too.
Yeah. What is there some other like what did they influence in any of the food? Do you know?
Well, they brought a lot of the ingredients and the spices, and combined with, you know, the numerous amount of you know, veggies and potatoes and all that. They make a perfect, you know, mixing, you know, with Japanese style sashimis, Peruvian seafood, you know, Cajun, African food with, you know, with Peruvian.
Is there this question was coming later, but is there like a one or two dishes that are pretty nationally known? Like if you're going to Peru, these are the two you should have.
Depends on which region you are.
Okay,
you can be on the coast.
So on the coast, where you're from, what would you say?
Oh, ceviches.
Okay,
ceviches,
of course.
Ceviches.
Yeah, there we go. I knew that's what was coming. Yeah, okay.
Ceviche,
yeah, and that's any fish, right?
Sashimis, Peruvian. You know.
Yeah. Do they do kind of like a almost like a tartare or like a
sausages?
Yeah, like do they put like?
No, I can say...
Or is it just fresh sliced fish?
Fresh sliced fish, lemon, very simple ingredients. I think all these sausages and stuff like that, they came later on is with the name fusion.
Right.
Now people are cooking, you know, in fusion style.
Adding a bunch
that's
of
not
stuff.
Really, you know, how we grow up, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Simple. You know, you see a nice, you know, fish on your plate, a rice next to it, a little salad on the side, you know.
Maybe some herbs.
Yeah.
Some garlic, you think? Or
garlic is always
yeah.
in our food, yeah.
Okay.
And onions.
Yeah. And then obviously you talked about how your palate changed. Like you didn't eat fish or you didn't like it, but now you do like it.
Yeah, now.
Yeah.
I really like fish a lot now. Yeah.
And then I always ask everybody as you become an adult and you start traveling and moving around to different places, is there let's go with the best experience at a restaurant. And it doesn't have to be where you're from. I don't care where it's from. Anywhere in the world, what is your best experience with food in a restaurant or with anything? You know, with all your travels and stuff.
Well, good quality food is welcome in my table, and I guess in anybody's table. Like when I went to Brazil, I enjoy all the cooking over there. You know, if you have the prime, you know, spices and beef and fish. That's all. That's all it is to it. We cook a lot ourselves.
Yeah,
we make.
you guys do.
We cook every day almost. I can say, we try to bring the best ingredients. You know, we work at the farmers market, so we bring. I mean, you name it. We bring all kinds of veggies from the farmers market. You know, it's been almost 22 years selling coffee at the farmers market. So
that's in Mountain View.
Mountain View. I started in San Mateo. I went through San Jose, Cupertino. I went to in the East Bay. I mean, I quit all the farmers markets. Now we maintain the one in Mountain View. But like working at the farmers market, we bring all kinds of good veggies, bread, juices, fruit. I mean, you name it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the farmers market.
We're blessed with all the.
We are blessed.
Yeah, we are.
I mean, we have, especially in this area, there's a few farmers markets that put out.
I mean, if you ask me for a honey, I probably have 2-3 different kinds of honey all the time. Mm-hmm. You know, that we bring from different growers, producers. Yeah.
I mean, and that market has got, 200 vendors at that market?
200,
in Mountain
300.
View?
I mean, in the summer, it's always twice as much.
Yeah.
In the winter, not many, but not many is more than 100 for sure.
Speaking of local areas, is there any local restaurants that you do like, that you're like, hey, if you guys are out here, you guys should go eat here?
My wife and I, we go to a local restaurant, Divino's restaurant.
Divino?
Yeah, Divino.
That's okay.
It's a local,
nice
Italian restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
We don't go to a Peruvian or Brazilian because I do cook Peruvian, and Juliana cooks Brazilian food, and her mom cooks excellent too. Mm-hmm. That's part of the Argentinian side. Yeah.
That's hard to beat when you can make it at home.
We really well.
Yeah.
No intention or malinterpretation of you know who's cooking this way or the other way. We don't go out and eat that much, you know, on different restaurants. Either we go there or we cook at home, or we even make our own pizzas at home, you know, because Juliana makes really good pizza.
Oh yeah? What kind of pizza do you make, Juliana? Tell us.
Margarita pizzas, prosciutto. It depends. You tell me what you like.
Do you make the dough too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
We always a good glass of wine.
You know, that's like kind of goes into my next question, which was a kind of a funny one, but we all know we dealt with this pandemic still dealing with it, but we had this pandemic for the last year and a half, and everything was shut down for a while. Is there something that you guys made at home that you were like, oh, we never made this before? Or we picked up a new skill? You know, a lot of people picked up new skill. You know, we started seeing flour disappear from the store because people were baking at home because they're like, oh, I can do, you know, cook at home now, you know, because my favorite restaurants closed right now.
Well, pizza is one of the things that we start making from scratch, right? And Antonella, our 2-year-old, also participate with us. She really enjoy it. And we also start working out at home. Yeah,
the home workouts. I think everybody started to find out that they could do a few things at home. Yeah. The home gym equipment was getting sold out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pizza is the new, somewhat new.
Pizza is what we usually order.
Yeah.
And now we make it from scratch at home.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to take advantage of these.
Do you guys use a stone or anything? How do you guys cook it?
Yeah, so we have a stone. Mm-hmm. And so we make it the dough in the afternoon, let it sit. And then when we come home, we finish.
Yeah, and it proofs. And then how hot do you get that oven? Do you do it like a hot cook, or is it like 4 something?
410.
410? Okay. Mm-hmm. I like it. That's really cool because, I mean, a lot of people picked up stuff that they, you know, I did a lot of cooking. Obviously, a cooking background, but you just pick up, you're like, why didn't I make this before? You know, like I've been buying it from this store or this restaurant, and it's okay. It might not be your favorite one.
Sometimes, you know, they make good pizza. You go back and there's not the same pizza guy doing it, and you can tell the difference, you know. But no big deal, you know. We're happy doing it at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then on that note, we'll get out of the cooking thing, and obviously you got your daughter. How has that been? And does she what does she like to eat? Does the home cooking change because of her a little bit?
No, not really. Antonella eats everything.
Yeah. She eats things
That's great.
that all the babies don't eat.
Yeah, she eats
Like
what we
beets,
eat.
celery, carrots. I mean,
everything. She
That's
eats
great.
everything.
That's great.
She tells us what she wants to eat the day before, so we can cook. She wants to eat lentils or beans. She wants to eat fish, or she wants to eat meat or chicken.
she drinks coconut water
Water. She drinks coffee.
Oh,
a
well,
little bit.
that's coming, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she drinks coffee.
Yeah.
A little bit. Very, very, very little. We make more like milky and then put a little bit of coffee. But
Okay. And then let's dive into coffee. Obviously, if you guys don't know, Max came across basically a coffee plantation pretty much.
Exactly.
And people don't realize coffee's a fruit. It's, you know, it's a berry. And, you know, tell us how it goes down. Tell us, you know, tell us about Papache Coffee.
Well, after I got the farm, the main thing was, how am I gonna prepare all this coffee? Okay, you can harvest the coffee, but you need to do the depulping. You need a machine. You got to do the fermentation. You need the water tanks. You got to do the sun dry. You need the greenhouse. So all these implements came later on. Nothing was really thought about it, you know, until I needed it. Once I needed it, I started building it. Once I got another property where I have electricity, water, you know, and this is in the upper level of the main village. What happened was that once I got the property, people were taking shortcuts, and they're bringing animals like cows to feed their animals at our property. So I couldn't really build anything there until I got to close this place, because I got everything with barbed wires. People used to just break the barbed wires to bring their animals in there.
And
So little by little, I built this compound where now it's our wet mill. Very necessary. You harvest the coffee, you need the wet mill. So now we establish the water tanks to do the fermentation, the depulping machines. We brought electricity into the property. So all that happened little by little during, you know, a period of about a year and a half. Once I have everything established, it was easier to do the depulping, fermentation, sun-dry the beans. The second big problem that I have over there at the village was every time I bring my coffee for the husking, there's at least 5 or 6 times they switch our coffee. You know, they play really, I can say, really dirty by doing that. So the next step, Juliana and I, was we got to get our own dehusker so we don't have to bring our merchandise to somebody else.
And that's taking the initial shell off of it?
That dehusker remove the outside layer of the husk, and I polish the bean, and we got that machine and a second machine that select the bean by sizes. So now we have the wet mill to do the depulping and fermentation, and now we have the dry mill to do the dehusking. So everything is done in one single place.
Nice.
One single place, everything is done. I mean, I could be, you know, surrounded by these walls or these compounds that I'm telling you. I don't have to go outside. I have electricity, clean water. I have a greenhouse that I bought it here in Stockton, put it in a container and ship it over there.
Wow.
Not for germination or growing plants. I got the greenhouse to sun dry the beans on benches.
Okay.
Perfect. You know, nice commercial, 97 feet long by 30 feet wide greenhouse. And it helped us a lot. Once we depulp the coffee, we sun dry the beans in the greenhouse. 4 weeks later, we pack these beans and they're ready to be dehusked once we collect all the harvest during the 3 or 4 months. When we finish the whole harvest, you know, we sun dry all the parchment. That's what it's called, parchment. First is the cherry, and then it's the parchment, and then it's the green beans. So when everything is collected in parchment, that's when we use the dehusker to dehusk the beans. And also we got to make sure that when we dehusk the beans got to be a certain percentage of humidity for, you know, to be prepared for dehusking. Juliana got the machine in Brazil. Of course, she went like 2,000 kilometers to 3 different places in Brazil to see which one we were going to buy.
Yeah, and Juliana's very familiar with the process and has been helping Max for years and heavily involved in the coffee process.
Well, we met each other in the coffee business also.
Right.
Her uncle had a coffee roasting facility. He was my friend and / you know, friend, business, customer.
And that's how you guys met?
That's how we met, you know.
Oh.
We lost him. You know, he passed away. And Juliana came from Brazil actually to sell the business in San Francisco. I helped her for about 3 months. Finally, the business was sold, but I didn't let her go.
Nice.
We're still together. That was 11, 12 years ago.
And that was that Brazilian coffee? What kind of coffee was that?
No, so
curious.
my uncle was a roaster. So my uncle used to buy coffee from brokers.
Okay.
And when Max started his business, he used to sell Peruvian coffee to roasters.
Got it.
So that's how we met.
Okay.
He used to sell coffee to my uncle. We met about 20 years ago.
Okay.
I was roasting coffee with my uncle.
See, so
Yeah.
you know how to do most of the process then.
Yeah.
And the bartender.
Yeah. And bartending.
And bartending. Nice.
Coffee bartender.
Oh, a barista.
And a
That's what we
barista.
call. Yeah, a barista.
And barista.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. We met each other in the coffee business.
And then, so like, how long does that process from start to finish take? You know, this is for people that don't know, because a lot of people don't know how long it takes to actually get a cup of coffee
in the rainforest
in front of you, you know?
In the rainforest where we are, rain constantly. Rain, I mean, at least 6-7 months it rains.
It depends on when the rain stops.
That's what I was going to get to that
starts when you have more sunshine.
point. Once the rain stops, all you see it's the red cherries or the green cherries start coming to a burgundy red color.
Okay.
So we only harvest the red ones.
Or the yellow color.
And another thing, when you start touching the plants, they get all excited. You start pulling plants, you start pulling the cherry beans, and then you come back 2-3 days later, they're like firecrackers all over. The plant turns red everywhere. But we continue picking up just the red ones. Okay, the process from the beginning to the end might take about 4 months.
Okay.
4 months.
So red cherries.
Red cherries.
Or
yellow.
Or the yellow, the different variety that we have at the farm is the yellow Bourbon that we have.
Okay.
But
and is that separate? Is that separated from the red ones, or does it matter?
Well, the yellow Bourbon are a different variety.
Yeah.
There's about 40 varieties of coffee species.
Okay.
You know, we have at least 6-7 at the farm.
Okay.
All Arabica beans.
But all Arabica and the Arabica family. Yes.
Got it.
All Arabica beans.
Okay. And then, so we got cherries, and then what? Then what's next?
We got
Just trying to walk through everyone through this, just so they see.
We got the cherries. I make sure that see, I put my own label on my coffee. So from the beginning to the end, I try not to put it on plastic.
I mean, you don't have to give any trade secrets if you don't want to.
No. This is not a secret. But a lot of people.
You pick up the beans. You pick up the cherries. So. So what we do at the farm, you only pick up the fruits that are ripe.
Right.
Once you do that, we bring it to the property where it's washed, and we put it to dry. Some of them are dry on the natural process, and some of them goes to depulpation.
Okay.
When they're depulped, they go with the parchment, as we mentioned before. Or if they are natural process, they are dry as they are. Just
and that's dried in
sun dry with its own husk,
like
its own
if
pulp.
you put it a grape to dry outside. So this process we will do until the end of the harvest. It takes about 4 months because we only harvest the fruits that are ripe.
Right.
So that's why it takes so long.
So
other places, if you do a machinery, it takes much less because they just go with the machines and pick up all the beans. But because you do manual, it takes longer.
And so once it's dried out and, I mean, it's done through your full process, then it goes into the bags to be shipped out?
No.
So I'm just trying to get where that...
The parchment, we storage the parchment on burlap bags.
Okay.
So they won't retain water again.
Okay.
So I put them in this container that I have. Once I have, let's say, 350 bags of parchment, and I don't have to harvest anymore, that's when we dehusk everything all at once.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
All at once.
Okay.
But we're talking about from our side of the business.
Yeah.
I mean, there is many growers. They don't have the wet mill. They don't have the dehusk. They depend on the cooperative. I'm telling you how this works.
There's many different processes.
For different
right?
process. So
yeah.
they pick up the beans. They might have a depulper, and they sell the beans as a wet. They call it mote.
Sometimes I've seen...
They call it mote, serious.
Okay.
They call it mote because it's wet, and they don't have a greenhouse like us. They don't have a place to sun-dry the beans.
Yeah,
They don't have a property.
I have seen pictures of people drying them on a rooftop.
That
right?
Or they bring it somewhere where they can dry the beans overnight.
Okay.
Like
a warm area. And
yeah, but it's the best way to do it is the way we're doing it.
Yeah.
Sun-dried in the greenhouse.
Okay.
4-5 weeks, raking it every day, So each bench has its date when we place the beans.
Okay.
And then we also have a moisture meter. So we check the moist. When we reach 11.5%, we put it back on the burlap bag and we store it in the container.
Okay. And then once it's stored, at what point is it coming out to the shop out here?
Around October is when we start the process because here it start getting cold. Mm-hmm. So we don't want to do the trip when it's hot.
Yeah, because inside the container gets really hot. But we ship the coffee usually in October, November, and by December we get it the first week.
Yeah, and
unless there's a strike going on.
Yeah.
We had a strike that we never got the coffee for many months once.
The machines, the dry mill works that you put the coffee on a parchment inside those machines. They dehusk the coffee. They separate any husk or rocks, and then sort the coffee by the sizes. We have some screens that we separate by size, and then you fill the bags. So when we roast here in San Carlos, you have a nice and smooth roast.
And it's like evenly sized, right? Because
Yeah.
so why don't you go over, and once it gets here, it's roasted. You roast it in batches, obviously. And so why don't you tell us what kind of coffee you're roasting, and tell us about the coffee that you have.
Single
Single
Not a
origin,
blend.
yeah.
Single.
We know that.
It's always
Yep.
the same coffee. Their coffee is roasted dark, medium, and light. That's what the customer wants. You don't want something dark. We have medium, and then we have a lighter. And then we also produce about 5% of the pea berry.
That was unique. That's the first, when I came here and you told me about it, I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
Tell us about the pea berry.
Well, we got to take the advantage of the machine that Juliana is talking about. They select the bean by sizes. So it selects the beans by size 18, 16, 14, and pea berry. But we also can change the screen. Like if we got bigger sizes, we can put size 20. That's one of the biggest beans that we have. And we do carry size 20. I mean, that's, very uniform. So when we're roasting the coffee, it's very, it roasts even. You're not roasting a little one and a big one.
Right.
So
That's like when you
the little one will get dark
burnt.
and the other one,
Yeah.
So,
it's like you're cooking garlic and you got big pieces and little pieces and little pieces
Exactly.
burnt.
Yeah.
And then you don't get that nutty, good nutty flavor.
Yeah, exactly.
And how do you gauge the flavor profile? Like, how do you know? I mean, how do you know when it's done? I mean,
The
because of
roasting?
years of doing it, but yeah.
You know what it means a lot, to be honest with you? It's the high elevation. Growing these coffee plants in the environment where it's really cold in the evening, because you're sitting on 1,700 meters above sea level. So it's cold in the evening, high in the daytime. That drastic weather between night and day brings the cherry to be a bigger size. That bigger size develops more sugar. So it kills the bitterness, the sourness on the coffee. So Mother Earth is just doing its own, this is not growing on flat lands.
And how high is that elevation? Do you know?
1,700 meters,
Okay.
about 5,000 feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it develops more sugar, for sure. It's bigger. It has more juice. Once you're roasting it, the coffee, it's doing its own, unique, taste. Roasting, we try to roast it slow, not really fast, but the coffee itself, where it's coming from, is unique. It has, one of the best award winnings, not from us, but I know other people, have, award winnings in France and Germany and Spain. I never put my coffee on display for any competition, but, I have a lot of repeat customers. They hate to go back to where they used to get their coffee. I'm not going to say any names, but
Yeah, that's fine.
they go, wow, your coffee is good,
Mm-hmm.
But it is the location. The location means a lot.
The location and
Yeah.
got a little background noise, but we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, the location that is,
It's shade grown.
and then your process, like it's there's not many things in the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
coming
yeah.
from one place.
Yeah.
It's not coming from 5 different farms and blending it all
It
together.
also took me at least a couple months to bring the water all the way to where the potable water initiation of these, where the water comes from to the village. I'm one of the first one touching the first amount of water coming into my property.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like I said, it took me at least a couple months to dig in the ground and bring the PVC pipes all the way to the. So the same.
Not only that, I think also makes a difference. the way we harvest, because we don't pick beans that are not ripe, right? We don't spray our coffee. We don't use any synthetic fertilizers. All the water that we use for washing is recycled. We have the oxidation tank, and we clean everything before we bring it back to, we put it back. So we really try to take care of what's around us. And it really helps growing the coffee, because we are taking care of the environment around us.
Also, another stuff that we built at the property was the oxidation tanks. Very important, because once you depulp the coffee, you don't want to return the water to the creeks. All these fermented water destroy the ecosystem over there. So by doing the oxidation tanks, we clean the water before we release it to the environment. The place, I can only talk for myself, but I seen other people not taking care of the environment like the way we do. Some people see me building the oxidation tanks and go, well, why are you doing all that? It's like you're spending more money. But in the long run, I will say that it should be required that everybody should have oxidation tanks because you use a lot of water. You're depulping all these fermented water. It's not good for the environment.
And the water's from you're saying the wet process, right?
It's potable water. The same water that I'm cooking, taking a shower every day. It's the same water that I use for, depulping.
Right.
And also, not only depulping, you use water. You got to use a good amount of water to remove the mucilage from the coffee. After all the gooey stuff is being fermented overnight, you have to wash it again and until the parchment, the seeds are sounding like little pebbles.
Yeah.
When they sound like little pebbles, all the gooey stuff's already gone. But all the gooey stuff goes through the oxidation tanks first. So it's screened by sand and some aquatic plants that we have. So it goes from one tank to the next tank to the next tank until all the water is released to the creeks, to the outside of the property.
And totally cleaned out.
Until it's all clean, yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. That place is just a good habitat for birds. It's shaded, it's shade grown. We try to to be good with with the ecosystem. Am I saying it right?
Yeah. Taking care of the land.
Yeah.
Because it'll take care of you.
Yeah, I do a lot of mountain bike over there, and I see a lot of people carry like the organic certifications. And when I'm cycling through their properties, they dump a lot of stuff on the creeks. It's so...
It's sad.
It is. But if somebody asks me, is your coffee organic? Yeah, it is organic and certified by me. That's it. I don't...
Yeah.
One person have the organic certification, and 10 other big guys are using that guy's certification.
Yeah. When it's coming from one place, you know where it's coming from.
I always invite people to come over.
I'm willing to go. I told you that. I want to go to the jungle.
I'm always invite people to come.
We just have this little issue of travel right now.
Yeah, right now. But welcome. If you put a group together, welcome to come over. Especially during harvest season. Mm-hmm. So it's something to learn.
Do you ever make any of the coffee there just to see how it comes out? Like a quick mini roast to check it?
I have a wok.
Okay.
I roast on my wok.
Yeah.
I don't have a roaster though.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I do some roasting.
Yeah, just a little test, right?
Yeah.
Just to see how it is.
Yeah.
We only bring enough coffee to get settled,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have to roast there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then we're here on location in San Carlos, and I'm looking at the roaster you guys have, and it's called the San Franciscan Roaster, and that's an old company, right? They've been making them for a long time.
Yes, they've been around for a while. I'm happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a machine that is built by they started around the corner actually.
Mm-hmm.
And we have one of the first coffee roasters here. Of course, the one that we purchased was purchased not even 2 years ago. And we're really happy. Yeah, it's a cast iron. All the internals are cast iron.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
We got a blue and brass one, and then we got a black and brass one here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're well built.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good machines.
And we have
They run forever.
And then you've got an older one back there too.
Probat.
Yeah, Probat. That's one of the best ones in the world too.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that one looks a little older. That one's
Yeah. I can say that's a vintage.
Okay.
1969 Probat.
Wow.
But it was beautiful. Very, very good.
You still use it?
I still using it, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah. Little batches, no more than 10 pounds at a time, stuff like that. Like if I want to do something special for somebody, they orders something extremely dark or extremely light. I don't have to put 25 pounds on the big one, I just do a small amount.
Yeah, and that's some of the things I was telling you about, like what is your favorite piece of gear? Sometimes, gear, obviously like your mountain bike is one of your favorite things, but like the roaster probably here is probably the thing to use, right? I mean, every day.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it's
Or
pretty,
every time
it's
you need
obvious.
to turn it on, it's ready to go anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's super reliable.
Yes. Recently, we just cleaned it up. And it took us a couple days to take it apart.
And how much does that roast at a time, you think? How many pounds?
Well, you can
every
roast.
batch is 25 pounds of
Okay.
San Franciscan.
Okay. In there.
Yeah, but you can roast many hours.
And I'll just kind of go over what you guys have. I have it here. You have a French roast, you have a medium roast, you have a full city roast, you have Peruvian peaberry, which is what we talked about. That is like the exclusive one you have. Espresso, you have a decaf. You guys do a cold brew, Sumatra, and then your custom roast, and then you also do sell some green beans if people want to roast them themselves, right? Do you have a lot of people demand that?
There's a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. On and off,
Some rookie coffee roasters out there?
Yeah, somebody that's trying to impress their neighbors probably with all the smoke.
Okay. And then I know you guys carry some chocolate.
Yeah. We bring chocolate from Peru, from a well-known chocolate factory. Actually, I know the owner.
Kuma
Yeah,
chocolate.
Kuma, right? Yeah.
Kuma.
Yeah.
Very nice. And I'm a fan of your cold brew, by the way. So I'm usually here getting an iced cold brew for the most part. And that thing lasts me all day. Like, I mean, caffeine wise, it just hits pretty hard. I can use it for a pre-workout, or I can, use it for if I'm not going to take a nap in the afternoon, I don't need one because that thing's pushing me all the way through the night. So, and that's awesome. You guys have an awesome selection, and I just want people to know that. So, I appreciate all that stuff. And then I think one of the things I was going to ask you, and I think we already know which recipe you'd probably want to give, but some of the favorite things you like to eat is one of the dishes you like is ceviche, right?
Yeah, it's a nice appetizer.
It's an appetizer. Yeah.
It is an appetizer.
It is, yeah.
It is.
And what's your favorite way to make ceviche? Tell everybody
Fresh
how you like to
fish,
do it.
Fresh fish.
And what kind of fish do you usually like to use?
I like sea bass.
Okay.
If I make ceviche, sea bass.
And then what do you put in there?
Oh, just salt and pepper. Good lemon. Not too spicy, but put a little bit of hot peppers,
Mm-hmm.
red onions.
And the Peruvian peppers?
Peruvian style.
Yeah.
Peruvian style. We put a little bit of corn, sweet potato.
Sweet potato in there,
Yeah,
huh?
sweet potato
Wow.
goes right next to it.
Oh, it's served on the side.
Yeah, on the side.
Okay. I was just talking about
Serve
it
on the big lettuce,
like a lettuce bowl.
Put the lettuce, put the fish, the
Corn.
ceviche on top, the corn in the side.
Just like, is it roasted or corn? How you guys
Giant
make?
corn.
It's a boil. Just
Okay,
boil.
yeah,
But let it cool off.
of course.
Yeah, just a little bit,
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
And you can get all the ingredients here, pretty much. I mean, like the corn, the real Peruvian corn.
yeah, for sure.
There's a local store around here.
There's one other item that you told me about, and maybe you can tell everyone else about it. But it's the tea that you have.
Oh,
It's
the
emoliente.
Emoliente.
Yeah, tell us everybody about that.
It's a tradition that comes from Spain to Peru. I mean, the Spaniards were there,
I mean, is it more like a, is it a tea you drink in the morning? Is it afternoon? Is it a health tea?
You can drink that day or night. Very soothing, good for cramps. Doesn't have any caffeine.
Okay.
You can see it, like if you are in Peru, either day or night, you see little stands where people are boiling these herbs, and they make
And they're making it right there?
Yeah.
And it's the herbs, and what else is in there?
Flaxseed, horsetail grass,
Toasted barley.
toasted barley,
Plantain leaves.
cat's claw is a bark from the jungle of Peru. We put a little bit of cinnamon if you like the cinnamon, not too much because it overpowers the taste.
Okay.
Then we bring it to a boil, and then we simmer it. We sell that at the farmer's market, actually.
Served with
We
some
bring-
lemon and honey.
Yeah, I bring 5 gallons, and I'm boiling it, and by the end of the day, it's gone.
That's awesome.
We serve it with a little bit of honey if they like,
Yeah, or lemon.
or lemon. We have a lot of repeat customers for emoliente. We
See.
only do it in the winter because you have to have open flame.
Yeah.
The pot got to be boiling slowly all day long.
It's perfect for a winter drink.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Perfect.
It's getting there.
Yeah. The past 2 Sundays we brought the emoliente, and it was a big,
It's a big hit.
Oh
And
yeah.
good for the no caffeine drinkers.
Oh yeah.
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 And there's
no caffeine.
yeah, and sometimes you just you're there late. It's not you already had your morning coffee and you need something else. That's perfect.
Yeah, and also when you ship coffee, coffee is very delicate. You don't want to put something that has a different aroma, because coffee absorbs all the aromas around.
That's what you were telling me. Yeah.
But we bring emoliente with the coffee. It's all packaged with our name. The bags are sealed, and doesn't have any extra, smell. Yeah, we have boxes of those. Yeah, we're selling pretty good.
That's great.
Well, one thing that we don't bring is chocolate on the container. It might melt.
Oh, yeah.
You never know.
Right.
Yeah, it's all DHL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of aroma, and we've talked about this because I've talked to Max about different things, and we talk about cooking and different dishes. There's my other favorite Peruvian dish is the chicken,
The chicken.
the pollo a la brasa, right?
Yeah.
And Max actually has a rotisserie, but based on where the coffee is, it cannot come close to it because it can add to the flavors of the beans, which you don't want. Roasted, even though roasted chicken tastes phenomenal,
Yeah.
you can't have that in your coffee.
No. Last time I fire up that machine, it's on wheels, so I brought it to the alley around the corner,
Yeah,
and we did 20 chickens.
but that's like
But
my
the
favorite.
whole entire block was,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think me and Max will be selling chicken and rice down the street soon,
chicken and,
That's a good
French
idea.
fries.
and French fries. Yeah, yeah.
Chicken and French fries.
Yeah. So look for that. But that is one of my favorite dishes. I'm not going to say the restaurant that serves it, but they do it really well and they're known for it around here. But And that yellow, it's the amarillo sauce, I think.
Yeah,
Salsa
Right?
amarilla.
Salsa Maria.
Yeah. What is that sauce? What's in there?
Well,
You kind of know more than I do.
The yellow pepper.
There's a couple of them that we're going to go
Ají
over. But
amarillo.
yeah.
Yeah, the yellow pepper is well known in Peru for many cooking styles, and that particular yellow pepper brings a nice taste to the chicken or any other,
Yeah, like I've dipped like,
Yeah,
the vegetables in it too, because they give it to you on the side.
yeah, it's really.
And I'm pouring it over the rice and
it's
throwing the chicken in there and then just scarfing it down.
Yeah,
It has because it's not crazy spicy. It has a very smooth
yeah,
flavor. It's not like a habanero or something that's going to be like, oh my god, why did I even bother with this?
No, this one is it's hot, but it lets you keep going with putting more and more and more.
Yeah. And then there's a green one.
Yeah.
We talked about the green one. What's the green one called?
Huacatai.
Yeah, and that one's got a kick to it.
Yeah.
And that one's made with almost
The Huacatai, it grows like weed,
and it's like a green pepper.
Yeah. We have
It's an herb, right?
we
It's
have
a-
it.
it's
We
a-
have one of
It's
those.
not a jalapeno, right? It's a
No,
different
no.
pepper, right?
No, the Huacatai
Huacatai
is not.
is,
It's not as spicy. The Huacatai is an herb that is mixed and blended with the pepper.
That's
so
what I meant.
that's
Yeah.
how it become green.
And then it gets spicy
Yeah,
with
yeah.
and they're adding jalapenos to it, right?
They're adding the rocoto. That's the red. That's the most strong pepper we have
Okay.
in Peru.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and I've seen it all green is mostly the one I've seen, and then there's a restaurant down here that Estampas.
All green.
Yeah,
then
Estampas
the other one-
Peruanas does the all green one.
Yeah.
That's I didn't know what it was when they first gave it to me.
Yeah.
Just shout out to them. They've been here a long time in Robot City.
Yeah.
And they do good. And I usually get their lomo saltado, and then I get this sliced French bread with the huacatai.
Huacatai.
And I'm like, what is this? And then I dip it in. And I was like, whoa, it's got a kick to it.
Yeah.
It's strong.
Yeah, it's strong.
Yeah,
But it
It's
is good.
And there's like certain recipes that have cheese in it, right?
Well, that would be the huancaína sauce.
Yeah,
That one is the yellow sauce, and the part is skim milk cheese.
yeah.
What do you call them here? That part is skim milk cheese.
Queso fresco.
Queso fresco.
Queso fresco, but like I think even the guy I asked him, I think he said sometimes he puts Parmesan in there or something.
Well, here
it
they
just depends on the
they
recipe, right?
Use
They-
what it's available,
Right,
right?
yeah.
They use you can use queso fresco or what you find,
Mm-hmm.
and then evaporated milk. And then depending from where you are in Peru, they add some olive oil. Some places they don't.
Mm-hmm.
You can add some
crackers.
and garlic, and you blend.
Yeah.
And then it depends on how thick you like.
Mm-hmm.
You can add on your, and then this is served with potatoes, the golden potatoes, boiled eggs, and the olives.
Olives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
olives. Yeah.
Sometimes I see they serve hominy. Like the large corn.
That's the one we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's the one and only. Even for the ceviche, I use that.
Yeah.
That corn, yeah.
Yeah, it's that large kernel, right?
Yeah.
really
from
large.
Cusco. It comes from Cusco.
Okay. Yeah, and
Well, the one that I buy here,
But that
It's
sauce is good with everything, like you said.
Yeah.
You can dip your
No, I'll end up trying to
your
save some of it
vegetables,
for
your
like whatever I'm
beef.
eating the next day, and I'm like,
Yeah.
can I get 2 of those? Because I want to use it for the next thing. It's good. Yeah, the yellow one too. I like both of them. And shout out to those restaurants. I mean, it's good stuff, and Max knows how to make it at home, which is the best way. And that kind of wraps what we've got going on here. And Max, I mean, the floor is yours. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Share anything you got going on. Any new things coming up, or Tell us anything you want.
Something that I would like to do. It's I've been wondering about how can I get some bourbon barrels so I can do some aged coffee. Since we have, usually more than 30,000 pounds all at once that comes from our farm, maybe use a little bit, maybe, 4, 5, or 6 barrels and age some, our coffee and give it a different tone of flavor. It's more for the customers, There's a lot of repeat customers that will go, oh, okay, let me try, But we don't do flavor coffees.
Right.
That's the only one that I will say, I don't want to call it flavor coffee, but that I would like to age my coffee with the bourbon, on bourbon.
It's changing
wood
the
barrel
flavor profile.
Yeah,
more,
we'll give
right?
them a different profile. So you have an extra, like we have the French roast, we have the medium, light roast, peaberry. Wow, you have aged coffee.
Yeah.
Aged on what? I mean, if would it be Pisco? Pisco is white, so they don't age Pisco on wood barrels.
Okay.
Because Pisco is something typical from Peru.
Okay.
But I think here in the United States, I would like to find some barrels and age some of my green beans. Each bag's 150 pounds. Let's say I put 12 of these bags in all these barrels and leave it there for about 6 months. Let's see how will come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the places they do it.
Okay. It's being done.
Yeah, it's being done. Not that I'm trying to copy, but I'm curious. That's something that I would like to do.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I would like to. Since we have a lot of coffee all year round,
Yeah.
why not have something on barrels?
I'm sure there's a whiskey company that's got some spare barrels.
Yeah, but they're not in this part of the.
Yeah,
West
I know. We're not
Coast.
in whiskey country, but
I have contacted a few places,
Yeah.
but they're somewhere else where where it costs you more to ship the barrels than the actual price of the
Yeah.
barrels. But if you know somebody,
we'll look it up.
yeah,
Yeah.
we'll check it out.
Are you a whiskey guy too?
No, I'm not. I'm not
Okay.
into drinking. Wine, yeah.
Wine.
I like good food, good wine for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Is there some good Peruvian wine?
No.
Do they make any?
No.
I mean, I know there's some people trying to, right? Out there.
When I'm in Peru, I buy wine from Argentina.
Okay.
Argentina has really good wine, and we can find a lot of good Argentinian wine in Peru.
Nice.
I'm not into drinking whiskey or anything like that.
Yeah, but I like the barrel idea. I mean,
I like it
that's
too.
really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something unique. I mean, yeah, so what if someone else does it, but it's your beans.
Actually, we have quite a few customers that they work, with wine around here, and nobody can find me any barrels. I ask around all the time. Yeah. Well, they know somebody, but it's not alongside the California coast.
Yeah. And you need a whiskey barrel, right?
Whiskey barrels.
Yeah. Yeah. And that they're specific.
Just to try something new, to see how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And does it have that, like it had bourbon in it? Is that why it's going to give it the profile, or
No,
it was just the way they're made,
the
right?
wood is impregnated with
Yeah.
with the smell, the taste,
Yeah.
of the whiskey.
Wow. That'll be cool.
And then if you age your coffee in there, since coffee absorb any aroma, will absorb the bourbon taste into it for
Wow.
sure. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Juliana, you have anything else?
Thank you for coming, Dave.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys, and
Yeah.
shout out to Papa Che, so that you can find them on Instagram at Papa Che Coffee.
And not only you, or maybe some of your friends are invited. We invite people all the time. If they want to come over to the farm, we have a place to stay. Feel comfortable that this is nothing lucrative.
Yeah, I mean,
We're not
I
trying
think,
to make any money on this. We always invite people to come over.
Yeah, and I think you can put together like almost like a field trip.
It's not a luxury.
It won't be a luxury
stay.
cruise, yeah.
Don't think you're gonna get there. You're
I'm not
gonna
going
be
to push the people to harvest the coffee.
5-star hotel, but
Yeah,
it's
Yeah, you
a
know.
different
It's about the
look.
experience, and
Yeah.
that's what it is. Like I'm not,
Yeah,
travel is about learning
it is.
what actually
It
things
is.
are. I don't want to go somewhere and
I run into a lot
have
of
the same thing that we
Very
have.
different.
Try to duplicate what's here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very different experience.
I run into a lot of people that come from Europe and United States for bird watching. A lot of bird watching, tourists that come to the farm, through the farm and many places in the rainforest
Yeah.
where we are located.
Yeah.
I
I
have
think
seen
when things are a little smoother, you just put together a coffee tour.
yeah.
You just put it together. You get, you
Yeah.
limit to how many people you think you can handle, and then, it becomes a coffee tour. I mean, I was excited when you guys were talking about it before, and I was like, obviously the pandemic ruined that, but I enjoy learning those things, seeing where things are made. And then I actually, here I am tasting it later when it's completely done. It's like cooking, you take a raw product, you cook it, you braise it, you sear it, you season it, and then you get it and you're like, oh wow, this is where.
Yeah, no, or
And your process is all done in one spot.
I have seen people
So-
they knows this place, this roasting facility, and once they went to Peru and they've seen the facility that we have there, they go, man, this is the real Papa Chai headquarters.
Yeah.
Because that's the initiation where the coffee is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
You see these water tanks, you see this machinery that we have. That's pretty impressive. Even sometimes we look each other and we don't know how we got there. How I end up there.
Yeah.
Remember, I bought a coffee plantation and I didn't drink a single cup of coffee in my life.
That's
How I started it. And everything was like, it was surprise to us in every single step of this business.
Mm-hmm.
Now his daughter is drinking coffee at 2.
Yeah.
At age of 2.
a little, right? A little.
A little bit.
I mean, that's amazing. I mean, here I am, right? I'm sitting out of my own element too. I'm doing this podcast with you guys. It's something I never thought I'd be doing.
Yeah.
And talking to people about food and coffee and tea and anything that has to do with food, because I have such a passion for it. So I appreciate you guys, and thanks for being on.
Yeah. Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Take care. We're out. And as a quick reminder, the restaurants and gear talked about on each episode can be found on my website, foodoriginspodcast.com. I appreciate your support, and thanks for listening.